We look to inspire, influence, and impact. My name is Cortland Jones, and I'm so excited. This is a special broadcast of the Believe Live broadcast here with the CEO of Vision and Purpose Media Productions, as well as Vision and Purpose Community Magazine,
Yes,
Karen McConnell Jones.
yes, yes.
She oversees what we do here, and she oversees the Believe Live studio broadcast. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about something special. The first of many, probably,
Yeah.
Women of Influence anthology that includes Karen and a group of women. So, Karen, welcome again to
Yes.
Believe. This isn't the first time you've been on the show, but
Thank you.
talk to us about the inspiration behind Women of Influence, the anthology.
Wow, it's Cortland. When I was putting this book together, it just really took me back. And actually, it started 15 years ago, and I put this in the introduction as well. It started 15 years ago. I was on a personal fast, We believe, yes. So on my personal fast, and God just had revealed something to me. I just saw this group of women, and we're doing something and going out and being together in the community. So I was like, when I came off the fast, I said, I have to share this. I need to share this with the women. So I host at my house. I had probably over 15 women came to my home, and we was in the basement of my home. And I invited, but I still saw two men. So I invited two gentlemen to my house, my mentor, and then my mentee.
Okay.
And it was powerful. And I knew at the end of it, I wasn't quite ready yet to do what God had this to be. Because the Women of Influence is the words itself, the name, the subject matter is very important, it's very powerful. And in that, I did not want to lose the respect of we still are family, and men and children, everybody is included in this. So how can I still make them feel a part of this and not get overshadowed with the word women of influence?
Right.
So now fast forward, I went the next year, it was a women conference at church, and our pastor said, she told us, Deanne, she was like, I know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be called the Women of Influence. And I went, what? Confirmation. So I waited a little longer. And then one of the gentlemen, my mentor that was at the house in 2018, he started saying this is the year of women in democracy, women and democracy. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. And look at it, it is. We are in that time of women and democracy. We're starting to see more women in leadership, more women in leadership office roles, as far as, as the political arena go. And that is great. So now on the fast again, and I was like, okay, Lord. He's like, brought me back to that place. And when he brought me back to that place, Cortland, this time, he was like, now you know what to do. I have this media company. So now I can put it all out there and give it the platform that it deserved. And then he showed me even more that it needs to be about what? Women of Influence is about us using our influence and our experience to influence family, to influence business, to influence the community, our health and wellness, and of course, number one, first of all, which is last on our list, is faith. And that's our number one that carry us through. That's what a true woman of influence is about. She's about all these things. It's important to her. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you that question as far as the talking points or the themes related to the book. When I look at you from my vantage point to see the work that you do in community, I can understand, where you're coming from on the subject of women of influence. It is awe-inspiring. It's, it's humbling, but it's needed, right?
Yes.
We all need to see ourselves as someone who's influential and can impact and serve and support community. So you already mentioned faith as you see as the main thrust of a woman or women of influence.
Yes.
So talk to me about those talking points: faith, family, community, business, as well as health and wellness. Why those themes as it relates to this anthology?
Yes, that's a good question, and definitely if I have to start backwards now, and which I have faith to be fifth, but faith is first. Faith is everything. Faith will give you hope. Faith will give you purpose, and faith will make you believe.
Yeah, amen.
So it have to start there. And women of influence, that's what we are. You know, when we are dedicated to our faith, it's nothing that we cannot do. Even in the midst of our struggles, we know we are still being blessed. And when you are still being blessed, you just give of yourself unselfishly. You're not going to stay in your self-pity or where you are in your struggle. You still going to go out there and be a blessing. You're going to be a blessing to family. That's what women do. We are natural, nurturers. So family, we're going to love and take care of them first, and then taking care of family, that means community. Community is what? It's nothing but our extended family. We love up on them as well. And then, but the part for me, why I had to put the health and wellness in there, I'm speaking for me, because when you are usually most likely a woman of influence, you focus on so many different things, and you do what? You put your health and wellness on the back burner. So me talking about it and speaking about it make me stay attentive to what it is I need to do, even though I'm doing all these other things. And so, and that's why I just feel in that order. And then like now, women are in the position now, we are having more leadership role in business. And we need to, just have that comfortable place to talk about what it's like as a woman to have that leadership position, because it's still so demanding on us. And it's still, sometimes, we still fighting that battle, even though we are seeing, as we say, we are seeing that we are in the time of women in democracy, but we still have that stigma that come with us. If we work hard, we're strong, and we stick to our guns and stick to our point that we know is principally right, then we consider the B word, or they only got a woman because they need to fill that minority space. No, when we're doing it and it's faith driven, we know that God blessed us to have the talent to, move forward and do these things and be in that leadership position. But in our leadership position as a faithful woman and a woman of faith, you're going to make sure that everyone around you still know that it's a team. It's a team. We can't do nothing, Cortland, if we don't have a team.
So on that note, this will be my last question before the first break we take.
Yes.
What would you want people to take away from this anthology, this first book, this first publication, Women of Influence? What would you want people to take away from it?
I just want them to take away that, that we all have greatness. We all have greatness. And greatness lies in all of us. And greatness is where your skill set is, where your natural talents are. And, and that's how you can be great. You go and do your best in the things that you know. And the things that you don't know or that you're not as great at, guess what? Embrace that. That's called your imperfections. And God gave all us imperfections. And our imperfections, you'll really learn, are our stronger point. Because your imperfections makes you do what? Have to reach out and touch people and ask people for help or get the help that you need, because that's just how God would make it. Because when two or more come together, come on now.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Touch and agree, and there he be.
No, I love what you said. As we get closer to this break, I think about how we ended up together was,
Yes.
recognizing the move of God and the whole concept of being involved in the studio. And so in preparation for the other side of the break, I want to leave with this thought. It's important, you mentioned women being nurturers. It's important because the healing and the health of the community, women contribute to that as much as men. And so we're all needed to serve and support, engage, and connect with community. So ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of the break, we're going to continue this conversation about Women of Influence. This is Karen McConnell Jones. This is Believe. Thank you. Hold on until after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and thank you again for tuning in with us. Again, this is Believe, where we look to inspire, influence, and impact. My name is Cortland Jones as the host, and I am now here with some of the women of influence. Karen McConnell Jones, you saw her talk with me on the first side of the break, but now we get a chance to hear from the women themselves who joined her in this journey in writing. And I'm going to start to my left. They're going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what it was like to write this book, what the experience was like, what motivated them to share some of the things that they shared. You're going to get a chance to really hear from them. And you can currently download this book for free on Amazon. And I believe already it is an Amazon bestseller, I believe, in one category.
Well, not just bestseller, we are #1 bestseller.
Okay,
Okay. Not only in one category, since the last we talked, we don't hit a second category that we are #1 in. And then the third category, we are holding that #2 spot, getting up there. We're going to make it to #1 for the night over. It's only for this night, though. Only one night only, one night only.
So one night only, you can download the ebook version of Women of Influence for free on Amazon. And to my left is one of those women of influence that you will learn and read about in this anthology. And you are?
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Kiana F. Brown.
Kiana, when you hear Women of Influence, as I introduce the other women, I want to hear your thoughts. What comes to your mind when you hear Women of Influence?
Well, the first word that comes to my mind is change. Because I know that when there is influence, there is almost guaranteed impact for something to change. Now, with this group of individuals, we know that it's going to be a positive impact that reinforces change within our community.
I love that. Change. So women of influence inspire change. And we know this to be true. Anyone who has women in their lives, as we all do at some point, we can see the impact that they have as far as change, growth, evolution. So thank you for sharing that. And to my right, on the other side of Karen, we have...
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cynthia Terry.
All right, Cynthia,
Voice.
known as The Voice.
Thank you.
Can you talk to us, Cynthia, about what comes to your mind when you hear Women of Influence?
Influence, absolutely, especially with being with this group. It's overcomer. They have this selfless perseverance. All of them have a story, but at the end of the story, a lot of lives have been impacted because of what they did. So many people have been touched, and they're in a better position because of the women that are of influence. A lot of times when you think of influence, it's all about me. This group of women, it was all about others.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that.
Good answer. Good answer. I feel like I'm on Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer.
Look, I believe they both put a period on what they said. So we have another woman, or another woman, women of influence to my left, to Kiana's left. And you are?
Hi, Nike Hightower, and what comes to my mind, and those was excellent answers. What comes to my mind as a woman of influence, I hear leadership, role model, protector. I hear a lot of things that do with helping, supporting, because in the mind of God, when he first created a woman, he had in his mind, she shall be called woman, because he created her to be a support system in this earth to support the family, to be that role model and that leadership role, to go alongside, not behind Adam, but beside him, to support, to lead, to guide.
Yeah.
So that's what I hear, because I see what's in the mind of the Creator.
So I love that. Change, overcomer, and leader. And of course, Karen, I think I asked you this already. What came to your mind when you thought about women of leadership? Maybe I didn't, but can you refresh our memory? When you hear women of influence, what comes to your mind?
Yes, and just all these great things that the young ladies have said, that the women have said here. It is true, you know, women of influence is first for me, like I said, about her faith. You know, she's definitely about her faith, and faith is the base of everything. It allows her to be that person that is needed for family, be that person that's needed for business, be that person that's needed for the community, be that person that needs to attend to her health and wellness as well. So, you know, women of influence, we are just, you know, selfishly giving, and, you know, and it starts with the base of love, the love of God, and the love of what he needs us to do for his people.
So I have a question that I want to ask, because I just think it's important, you know, when you're talking about this type of subject. I usually ask this question in a different way because it's not usually associated with the title of this anthology, Women of Influence. You can find it on Amazon. You can download it for free currently. Only one day though, so if you like what you hear, we need you to make sure that you go to Amazon today and you download this ebook for free. So I'm gonna ask this question.
But Courtland,
Uh-huh.
even if they miss this day, go download it anyway and just gonna pay the little fee, because it's worth it. Yes, the book is worth it.
So we definitely want you to, because in this anthology, I had the privilege of supporting the women and helping them. But they definitely did. They did the work. They did the real work, because there was some vulnerability and transparency, and that's where this question is coming in.
Okay.
And I'm opening it to the panel, ladies, for whoever wants to answer. How many of you actually felt you were women of influence before you agreed to join this anthology?
Whoa, now that's a good
Did you
question.
actually feel, because there might be a woman out there who's doing what she's doing, but she may not see herself that way. Did any of you question, like, am I really a woman of influence, when you were invited to participate in this project? Who would like to tackle that question?
I actually can tackle that question because I did question myself, not from the standpoint of ability, but from the standpoint of how far reaching was my influence. And sometimes we know that by me being a wife and a mom, I know my children have already said it, my husband has already said, thank you for the things you've done, how you influenced me. And you hear it amongst, you know, your family and friends. But sometimes we don't realize how far of a reach influence can go. And so when I was asked to be a part of this anthology, it helped me to see that right now we are international women of influence. Therefore, it's helping me to see that what you are embarking upon or what you have gone through, when you share it with others, how far reaching it can become. And that influence is not just for you, you're for no more, but God wants to take it, as you know, as we know the famous commission, not just, you know, in Jerusalem, but to the othermost parts of the world. Because
Amen.
people are people everywhere you go. They go through ups and downs just like everyone else. And we don't know how our story can really penetrate and be an influence to others, even in another continent or in another valley or another hamlet, you know, another village. So it really did not register with me how far it would go.
Love that answer. So Cynthia or Karen?
Yes. I thank you for that question, because women of influence do what they do from the inside out. They don't measure it until a Karen McConnell Jones comes to you, tells you what you did, and tells you you're a woman of influence, which is what happened with us. I did something that was, I just did it, but from the person who receives it. It was just totally different. I'm going to stop before I cry because she made me feel like I was 10 feet tall. She really, really did.
Because you are.
She really, no, but
These women are giants up here. Trust me, they are.
So thank you.
Thank you.
So I concur with Cynthia because you hear it all the time. I hear my brother tells me constantly, you know, it's because of you that I am pushing. It's because of you that I'm doing this. And I'm, you know, it's my brother. So I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to push you, you know, to do these extraordinary things because that's what we do, you know. And then just thinking about the community and people is like, oh, you're always doing this and you're always doing that. And to me, it's just what I do. I don't look at it as doing it to become influential or to be influential. It's just the desire that God has placed in my heart. And just so happened, God allows for me to drop seeds into the ground that then blossom. I may not be the one to water them, but he's allowed for me to drop those seeds so that people can start their growth and start their evolution. And because of the things that he's gifted me with, now I now see, Karen, that I am a woman of influence.
All right. That was great.
I love that. Karen, did you want to add anything to that?
Cortland, they did well. They answered it well. Yes, I agree. I concur to everything that was said. But if I can go back though, I held out on a piece at the beginning in my intro when you asked me how did this come about, and when I explained about, you know, having the women at my house and it was 2 men. But when God gave it back to me again, I was waiting on you to say something. Guess what? We had 2 men again. Cortland, you was the coach, and then Wesley. He was our director of operations. See how God allowed things
Full
to
circle.
come? So thank you. You was the best coach ever. The best
Yes.
coach ever. And because you had this calmness about you, Cortland. Well, ladies, before you start to write, decide what kind of writer are you. Are you a storyteller? Do you like to go from the beginning, and start at the end and then go back to the beginning? So you had us to think, about what it is we want to do, the nice, just answers or questionnaires that you gave us on subject matters that we can probably come from, that we came up. And it was so crazy how me and you think so much alike, with helping me coach. So I just want to take this time to say, again, even with all this, we are women of influence. We do recognize how much we need our men. And God would never allow us to be women of influence without having you all in the center of it, because we are made from what?
Yes.
Where we made from.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I would never, that's why I say I would never want the word or this title to be that we are superior.
Right.
We're not never saying that. It's our faith that God has allowed us to go out and do his work. And doing his work means that we love and have to respect our men.
Amen. Amen.
So, as we
Yeah.
as
Look,
we,
and I'm
we-
going to give you a hug.
Thank you. And I appreciate that because, Karen and I mentioned how me being here is a result of a conversation that you and I had, and it was confirmation for me. I put out these feelers into the world about this desire to want to move forward into media, and Karen was the one that responded, and immediately our conversation, it was like old friends talking, and it's been like that pretty much ever
Yes,
since. And
yes,
so
it
when she
has.
invited me to do this project, I was like, by all means,
Yes.
and that was actually my next question. So I'm throwing it out again to the panel.
Okay.
And I do appreciate you inviting me to support the women in this way. When you realized you had to write about your journey, your story, what was one challenging aspect of trying to write about your influence? Like, did you notice one thing in particular that was like a struggle to have to write about, whether it be the content or the, you know, the way in which you were going to put the formatting together of what you would write about? What did you notice as a struggle? And we can start with you, Cynthia.
I knew you were going to. Because you helped pull part of that struggle out with me.
Amen.
It was, I kind of felt I had to share something that was very personal, and I didn't want to share it. It's a struggle that even in my adult life I still did, and that was my dark skin. And where I came from, if you had dark skin, you were the ugly girl. No, you were dark but cute. That's what it was. And when you just told me about, I think it was Maya Angelou, who openly talked about her struggles with her dark skin, it encouraged me to keep it in because I was going to take that part out. I really didn't want that part in. And I pray that that's going to help someone, but it wouldn't have gotten in without you. So
Amen.
it was a struggle.
Amen.
Amen. And I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to hold my thoughts until everybody shares, but I do appreciate you sharing that. Either one of you ladies want to share your thoughts on what you saw as a struggle in writing the content?
The struggle I think that I saw was, it wasn't difficult, it's just putting the formatting together, because sometimes we have so much to say, but yet we were limited to how much. And my struggle was, how do I say it with such few words? Learning how to narrow down what you really truly need to say versus just saying it all, because you want it all out and you want it to be told the way you feel like it should be told. But you really helped us to narrow down. I think it was one section we had to write it in first person or third person. You can help me out there.
Yes.
Was it first or third? First person. So learning that format and learning how to write it like that, and then limiting, Karen kept us on point with how many words. Use your word count, use your word count, because they were all over the place. So that really was pretty much my struggle, having so much to say, but yet having having that word count and narrowing down what you want to say so you do not lose the integrity of what you wanted to communicate.
Yeah, and I would just add to that before we go to Karen, and then we'll come back to my left. Being concise, like even for me as a writer, because you don't write the way you talk. This is what I tell the people that I coach. You don't write the way you talk. Those are two different communication styles. And so sometimes learning how to say it in words on paper in comparison to how you just say it with words, like it takes discipline to be able to really learn how to do that. So Karen, for you, what did you notice as a challenge in your writing process? Was it the content of what you would write, or was it the way in which it was going to be arranged?
Yes. Okay. Because Women of Influence is what authentic. She's very transparent. And I'm going to say this, and I'm over here laughing to myself. I say, because they're going to appreciate this. Believe it or not, Courtney, me and you was on that phone every Monday coaching them. No, write like this. No, dig deeper, get deeper, get deeper. Then when it was time for me to write my chapter, I was like, who coaching me? So, and because for me, and I'm going to be honest, as hard as the women allowed me to push them, and I am grateful for that. I'm good. That's what I'm good at, seeing the greatness in others and helping them get to that point of, believing and seeing it for themselves. Now it's my turn. I got to write and put it in words. And the first thing I was like, oh my God, I don't want to come across like I'm bragging, because a woman of influence don't brag. Karen, why do you do this? What made you want to set yourself up like this? Now you got to go and talk about yourself. Now, then I'll be, no. So, yeah. So that's real. And it probably took me the longest to write the chapter than everybody else, because we was coaching them. And when they came back that next Monday, they was like, look what I did. Look what I got. Look what I did. And then I'm sitting up here like, ooh, Karen, you better get started. So I'm being real, ladies. You all pushed me to focus in on me. And knowing what my strength was as a woman of influence, and and that's just being honest and authentic, living her authentic truth while influencing positivity. So that's who we are.
I love that. And so, your thoughts?
Wow. So when I decided to be a part of this, I already knew the topics that I wanted to write about. I just didn't know how they were going to come out. And in the writing, I literally shocked myself, because it was like the Holy Spirit was telling me now. Now was the time. I had to share something that I felt I was going to be judged about. I'd never shared it openly before, only a few close people, and now my sisters know. But soon you'll know if you get the book. What that is.
I like that plug.
But, it was hard for me to do. And I've been through this journey my entire life. And literally what I shared, I believe, is saving my life. And so to be able to share that and to not be afraid, but to be vulnerable enough to know that there might be another Kiana out there and someone else who is dealing with these dilemmas or situations in their life, that it's okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. And if you need a support, there's a support system out there, and I can help. But, outside of that, just being able to have like a woosah. It was just like, it's out there now. It's no taking it back. You got to own it. You got to own your choices and your decisions. And who knows? It could influence someone to do what I had to do, and it could change their life. It could save their life. So.
No, I love what everybody shared, because what we begin to realize is that it's usually our struggles that have more impact and influence on others than it is our successes, being vulnerable, being open, because we see everybody's successes. That's the part we always see. But when you begin to realize that the person you're looking at has a struggle, it makes them more human, it makes them more real. And then all of a sudden, now I don't feel so bad about the fact that I have a struggle, because someone I admire, someone I look up to has a struggle too. And to me, that is the power of the vulnerability and being open. And so again, Women of Influence, it's currently on Amazon. You can actually download it for free. And as Karen encouraged, even if you don't make it today, still do it, because one thing I learned in teaching writing the last 4 years of my career, which was a great influence on doing what we did, is that storytelling is all around us. So this question is actually a fun question, because this is a question that I ask the youth that I work with. This question has to do with how much we are actually influenced by stories without even really realizing it. And so again, this question is to the whole panel. Who in your life is a storyteller? Who in your life is a storyteller? So for the audience at home, think about that for a second. Who is the person that always got a story to tell? Every time you're around this person, every time family gets together, this person has a story to tell. And so we're going to start with Kiana. Kiana, who in your life, who in your world is a storyteller?
My Auntie T. She has a story for just about everything. She knows everything about everybody in the family, and she can tell it all. And I love when we get together family members, because she tells me all, because she know I'm not going to say anything. So she tells and gives me all the stories. I actually wanted to sit down with her and kind of do a documentary, because I believe in our family that, you know, she's the one who knows the most, and to just leave the legacy, just leave information about who we are as a family. So, but my auntie T, and she's a firecracker. You've met her. She's a firecracker.
I love that. Cynthia, what about you? Who in your world is a storyteller?
Well, the storyteller in our family was my dad, and he used to make us cry laughing as he's telling these stories. And I started storytelling, but now my daughter is the storyteller. She's sort of like a legacy going all the way down. And so I always would try to remember those things that my dad would say, but it was always fun. It was always fun.
Okay, Nike, what about you? Who's the storyteller in your
I
world?
would say it used to be my mom, but now it's my brother. When we get together, everybody wants him to share, because he truly, truly makes you laugh, and he gives every bad moment a great moment, because, I mean, literally, you laugh till you on the floor, or you laugh until you walk out of the room. And now my sons are telling me I'm the storyteller, because he always said, Mom, I tell you the truth. Every time you watch a movie or every time you have something to say, you always got a story to tell. And I think it just comes from the family line.
I love that.
And I believe that real quickly. I know time's sake here. So my mom was definitely the storyteller. At my house, my mom's house was the house everybody just end up at, and we just laughing and having a good time. She was just great at it, and it's passed on as to me. Now I'm the storyteller. I know I can see it in people's eyes when I talk. I love doing that too, telling a great story. So that's where my writing style come from too. I'm a storyteller. I tell people I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller. So I like writing in the form of, you know, drawing people in, and just, you know, just can't wait and wait to see what I'm gonna say next, you know. So yeah, I'm a great storyteller thanks to my mom.
So you've heard where the storytelling comes from. When you download your free copy, Women of Influence, you're going to get a chance to really immerse yourself in those stories. Very impactful, vulnerable, transparent stories that really will inspire you if you take the time to allow them to resonate with you. So again, my name is Cortland Jones. This is Believe, and we are talking with these women of influence.
Yay! Cortland, can I say one more thing before you
Sure.
wrap it up? We cannot go this whole show and not mention the other women that are not here. So it collectively is 9 women altogether, and plus our 4 is actually 10. So this is volume 1, and we had women to show you just how God would give it to me, because community is what? Everywhere. Community is everywhere. So this is what this anthology is made of. We have one in Mississippi. Hi, Melinda. In Mississippi, we have one in California. Hi, Natia. And then we have one that's in Florida. Hi, Lisa. Then we have one in Pennsylvania. Hi, Audrey. So today, we all was on it too, even the one in California, because, you know, it started our time, so she 3 hours behind. So when we started at 9, it was 6 for her, so up on it. But Melinda, you know, our newest member to the team, Melinda Walker, she was like, man, her was still up at 12 midnight. I ain't go to bed at 5, and then I was back up at, 7, starting all over again, and so she was right there with me, we was doing it. So all the women, we got this group text going on. We was blowing that group text up. So I'm going to say, you know what, the Women of Influence is just wonderful, and that's why this got to be just volume 1, because as you said, coming on, it's going to be many more volumes. And I thank all the women, because, like I said, God would just say, because I always say community is what? Everywhere, and never believe that the first book, the first anthology that I do, that I would have 4 people from out of town.
So, with all that shared, ladies and gentlemen, definitely take the opportunity. Again, go to Amazon, Women of Influence Anthology. You can download it for free. And again, women telling true stories about their lives and how faith, family, business, community, health and wellness, how they saw themselves immersed in these various ways in their lives and roles and how that played out. So again, thank you, Karen, for the opportunity to do this broadcast.
Thank you.
And again, this is Believe. Ladies, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
you.
us.
And again, till next time, we look to inspire, influence, and impact. And as Karen has said,